Welcome to the ShitTube. It's your boy PewDiePie. You can't kill me, no, my channel never dies. Get no ideas, no original content, but when I fuck your mom, you know it's with consent. Yeah. Welcome to this video number 3. I'm looking for a little road. I don't see it yet. And today, I wanted to start off by continuing on where I left off last time. I was discussing what I want to make of this show, because walking around everywhere and just rambling about shit is of course cool, but I want to do something. I found my little road. Oh yes, of course. And now the sun is shining me right in the back, so you cannot even see my face proper. Okay, how'd I do it? Maybe like this. Oh my god, I look old from this side. Okay, come on, I'm not that old. Oh, the road is actually full of dirt. Oh no. It's disgusting. I regret my decisions. I changed it wrong. So, I wanted to talk about what I want to do with this show. What I want to make of it. And, as I said last time, I want it to be... There's a giant copter in the sky. I want it to be a way for me, and I want it to be like a way for me to reflect upon the state of myself and the world that I exist in general. Okay, I found the frog place that I didn't go to last time because there were kids playing, and now that I look at it, there ain't no frogs in there, which is disappointing. But it is very hot. They're probably hiding from the heat. Man, I look old from this angle. Why do I look this old? Okay, maybe this is a little bit better of an angle. So, I finished with a bang. It was today. I'm starting very slow, which is terrible, but I'm trying to come to my thinking self. I'm trying to find my thoughts within my dumb, stupid head. So, as I was saying, yeah, I need to put a hat on because it's hot, and 2, it makes me look old. So let me pause for a sec, and there we go. Got my head back. So, I was saying I was saying a lot of things, but I was thinking right before as I was putting my head on, I'm afraid to look old, but it is weird. It's not in a sense that I don't want to look old. I don't want to look old and ugly. Let's put it that way. There was a wise man, Christopher Hitchens, once said. He stole it from somebody. Okay, a different wise man once said it, and I heard it from Christopher Hitchens that my cap is all full of spider shit. That man gets his true face at the age of like 40 or 30 or something like that, and amen to that. So I'm not really afraid to look old. I'm afraid to look dumb and old. Man, this It's not going off well today, is it? It's kind of terrible. It's just me rambling and rambling. And why is that? Why can't I concentrate on anything? Why can't I? B, get out of here. Jen, B. Wants a piece of me. I'm not a flower. Yeah, sometimes I'm like that, you know. I just cannot squeeze a word out of myself. And it's most annoying when I go for a walk with like a friend of mine or like a relative, like, and like, yeah, we're going for a walk and we should talk, but I'm like, yeah, I just shut up and don't say a word, because I'm not even in my thoughts. It's a different thing. It's a funny, interesting state of mind, because when I'm in my thoughts, I can at least express them. But here, man, the flower field again, it's beautiful. But here, I'm not in my thoughts necessarily. It's more like I am in a daydreaming state of mind. How do I put it? You know, we have two ways of analyzing, well, at least two ways of analyzing shit. We have rationale, we can think about things, we can play with them like with toys, and we can try to see if that goes there, like say it's Lego. Play with ideas and figure out if any of them are any good, if you can build anything out of them, if they're like if they're good. Nothing more to add here. But also we have this emotional, not necessarily emotional. I guess some people would call it subconscious. I just hate the word subconscious because it's overlauded. When people say it, different people imply completely different shit. Most of them don't know what they're talking about, me included. So perhaps I should refrain from that word. It is more of a I guess emotional would be a good word. Basically, what I'm saying is, when you hear something and your immediate reaction is not on the rational level, it's more like, I like this, I don't like this. Say, I hear Donald Trump say something, I'm like, I haven't even understood what he is talking yet, what he's saying yet, but my already immediate well, it's actually not, it's more like lol, because his voice just make me have lols until the end of time. Great job, tremendous job, we did incredible job. It's great, humongous, whatever Donald Trump says. His voice is just so funny. Hashtag worth him being a president, just to hear all of his speeches, make compilations out of them. Okay, whatever. My point is that we have immediate reaction to a piece of information that is not rational, that is something that is already inside of you. Like, for example, I already gave example Donald Trump. I wanted to add to this example that it's not only immediate, but you can also have this reaction delayed. Like, you can process things in this, I will keep calling it emotional level, not immediately, but afterwards, later. Like, that's something you can do. Let me give you an example. Okay, I can give you two, which are pretty cool, I think. Mm, One thing is, well, actually, two things. Two things. I was born and raised in a pretty, pretty religious family. Like, we didn't really, at least when I was growing, we weren't like fundamentals, but my parents were pretty religious and Judeo-Christian something. It was a Judeo-Christian something that it's like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. It was a clusterfuck. It was not a specific religion. It's just what is called as Judeo-Christian values. And these values also included that, religion good, atheism evil. Not necessarily like evil, just fakey dakey or full of shit or something like that. Just generally not to be associated with. Like, the most basic criticism of atheists from the religious communities, they can't prove that God doesn't exist, and yet they still insist. This kind of nonsense. Doesn't matter. So atheism, in not to be associated with, and now this is hard. This is gonna be hard to say, and probably hard to swallow. But also LGBTQ plus T, also like not to be associated with, bordering. And now this is not just this. I would argue that this is not the problem of my family specifically. While they do have that kind of thing, it is our society's, our Russian general culture and general attitude, especially at the time when I was raised, attitude to these kind of things. It was viewed as not sinful, but just at least like disgusting and sick. So I had those attitudes as well. It's good that I was pretty much what do you call it? That I'm a very introverted person, so I didn't go around insulting people over that. I didn't basically I didn't do shit with me being a religious douche and hating LGBTQT plus. Oh wait, LGBTQ. Yeah. It's either Q or plus. I guess Q is better. So my original attitude to both atheism and LGBTQ people was not the best. Let's put it that way. It was not. I would say it was ugly and disgusting, but I wouldn't say I had any hate towards these things. I remember distinctly feeling disgust and sorrow, like, what do you call it? Empathy towards the LGBTQ crowd, because I was told, I was taught and indoctrinated that these people are sad, that something went terribly wrong in their lives, and now they do all this shit and they destroy themselves, and all sorts of ridiculous LGBTQ like anti things. I don't know, whatever you name, some stupid shit that people go around telling each other about this crowd. And I heard it and I thought that it was at least probable. So when I was introduced to these concepts, my original, this emotional knee-jerk response was, ooh. Like, to atheism it was, oh, that's a bunch of stupid idiot people just being stupid. To LGBTQ it was like, oh, I'm sorry for you guys. Which now I'm sorry for myself for being that, because people change. But over time I exposed myself to more materials by that crowd, from LGBTQ community. I started learning about how it all works, what it means, and started understanding how these how do I put it? How it's not something out of the ordinary, how it is a non-standard thing, but how this entire idea of like this entire identity around them being something super different from the others is constructed by society, about how gender norms work, for example. So I started learning and I started applying all of this shit, and I started playing with those ideas, and they all made sense. And slowly over time, I understood. Not only I understood the points of the arguments defending this, and became one of these defenders. At least I hope that I am. But how do I put it? I also changed my emotional responses, and now with that is very different. How we understand things is, I already said, we play around with them, and we like with little Lego puzzles, and we attach them to each other and see, hey, that actually makes sense, and what I had there is ridiculous, stupid nonsense, which can be explained better by this understanding. So, emotional responses, however, like for example, I remember very distinctly, and I still kind of do it, but a little bit in a different way. I remember very distinctly consuming hours on end of like YouTube skeptic community, anti-religious, stupid, okay, not stupid, but just anti-religious crowd, and there's like a whole host of them. I knew the people I liked the most. I had my own little people, my own little club of people, and I just consumed hours on end of their content. And basically what they did is they were just bashing religion for all of its bullshit. And they were right, but this bashing, it was not for the logical part of me. Like, I was convinced by the arguments. I didn't need no additional proof. Like, I already knew that atheists had a point, and it was a brilliant point. That's why I'm an atheist. But this, me consuming their content was a part of emotional journey. Basically, I was changing my, what do you call it? I guess it's not, if it wouldn't be appropriate if I call it in-group. It would be more appropriate if I would say my emotional knee-jerk responses to shit. So I changed my emotional attitude towards religion from being like, yeah, that's a cool thing, respectable, you gotta respect other people's beliefs, to know that it's not cool, that is oftentimes a sickening thing, especially like if you don't take religion, like if you put it first, let's put it that way. Religion, whatever. I mean, if you want to believe shit, you believe shit. Like philosophy and atheism doesn't really save you from the questions of religion, like from the same attitude of believing shit. Like existentialism, for example, asks the same kind of questions in terms of okay, I fucked up my flow of thoughts and flow of words. What I meant to say is, religion makes you take things as axioms, and it relies on your will to take things as axioms. Now, philosophy and atheism also rely on you taking some things as axioms. Like, you're not saved from that. You have to believe in something. Like, for example, Descartes' famous statement is, I think, therefore I am. It's a funny little statement, but it doesn't really work. I think, therefore I am. What is this I that is am? But it doesn't matter. Maybe time for another video. My point was that I changed my knee-jerk reaction, my emotional attitude. Okay, that's a good one. Emotional attitude towards religion from good and probably better than not to bad, okay-ish, but in general, exactly what you believe. Tell me if you believe any of these old, like, Judeo-Christian, or give me any type of religion shit. You probably have some fucked up notions about the world. So yeah, these were my thoughts. Okay, let me pause the video. Guess who's back? Back again. I crisscrossed a giant distance, and now I'm back on the railroad track. There's an Eminem song, I think it's called 8 Men, The Cars. I hope you can hear them, at least you can hear me over them. Damn it, those cars. Last time I was walking here was at midnight. At least not midnight, in the evening, and there weren't this many cars, and I think it was the weekend as well. So the traffic wasn't as crazy. But now it is crazy. And I'm still afraid of the trains. I'm just very interested where this railroad goes. So let me finish my thought. My thought that I was making, the point that I was making, was that we have these two reactions to a idea, to a piece of information, which is we rationalize about it, we employ logic, we think, we play with the idea, and we figure out if it's good or not. And also, we have this emotional reaction. I also called it a knee-jerk reaction. But I'm still fucking afraid of fucking trains. So, with this, I said that there is no good way, like, it keeps scared. Okay, I'll watch out in this rear view mirror right here. There is no good way to approach this. You just have to kind of purge it from yourself. The knee-jerk reaction, the emotional response. If you already have a set emotion, man, damn those cars! I can barely hear myself. No, it's not good footage. This is not good footage. I don't think so, because it's terrible. I want to go into the forest, but there's people there, and I'm afraid of people. Ah! My point was, there was no good way to really remove or change this emotional response, unlike with the bad, fallacious thoughts, which you can reason yourself out of. With emotional response, you just have to purge it with a different emotional response. And I gave an example of watching skeptic atheist YouTube community to purge the religion good, atheism bad thought and change it to religion meh, atheism great. I no longer do that, but I found my Lord and Savior in Christopher Hitchens and his talent with words, which I hope to one day be able to, I don't know, appreciate even more. Because he's just brilliant. That man is brilliant. So I was talking about all that because I couldn't make myself, in the beginning of the video, I couldn't make myself talk about the thing that I wanted to talk about, which was how I wanted this, what exactly I wanted these videos to be. And I wanted them to be this kind of reflection type of material that I would use to try to understand myself and the world around me, and invite you to the process of self-reflection, which I couldn't bring myself to talk about because I was just silent and I was thinking, and I said perhaps I'm in the second state, which was this emotional reprocessing of new ideas. And there is a lot of that going on around today, not just today, but like these days, especially for me. I'm trying to change how, like, for the last over 6 months, I guess, ever since I returned from military, I have been trying to rethink and really, how do I put it, change, but also like understand and fix, fix I guess is a good one, fix my attitude towards personal relationships and their role in an individual's life. Because again, I was brought up in a kind of a family where there was constant, like, it just I guess every family is like that, especially from that time. It was constant, not necessarily pressure, but I'd say expectation of being in a relationship ever since you become a teenager, because teenagers do relationship, I guess that's why. So there was this constant, I wouldn't say pressure, I wouldn't say even expectation, I guess is fine. It's more like general attitude. It was understood that that would be a good thing, and not having that would be not a good thing. Thus, me now looking at this entire thing in a different light, I was trying to change. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, I changed the microphone to a different side so there's no cars. So yeah, I was saying that I was rethinking entire, like, what role a relationship plays in a person's life. Because for me, it was a central part. Like, how do I put it? I was brought up in a kind of atmosphere that made me be conscious and be aware of the fact that, hey, I am not in a relationship, therefore I need to do something about it, which I don't think is a healthy attitude. Like, if you want to do something about it, you can, but you must understand first why you want that. Is that because all your life you've been told that you should want that, and you somewhere within your head want to? Or is it like I guess it's not that simple. I'm processing this entire thing for 6 months for a reason, okay? It's not as simple. We have all sorts of emotions and attitudes toward different things, and some of them are adopted, from our environment, from our parents, most of them. Some of them we develop ourselves, but again, we just adopt them from the outside, which is how it works. Some of them are knee-jerk, like instinctual level shit. And we have this, like, separation blade with which we decide whether something is good or not good, healthy or not healthy. Basically, if it is something we should change or not. And that's the kind of process I have been going through. I am trying to pick out within my attitude towards relationships what I think would be like what is correct and healthy and a good thing, and what is unhealthy and a terrible thing. Like, I'd say my I shouldn't be giving examples because I'm not finished with it yet, but let me think of something. Okay, I can give you this. I think, at this point in my life, I think that it is good and healthy to want some contact and some, like, interaction, friendship perhaps, with the, well, I am heterosexual, thus with the opposite sex, with the opposite gender, for me. Well, for you, it's with whoever you want. But I also think that it is unhealthy to view like friendships in a relationship type of light. Like, I don't think it's not, well, first thing, it's not really appropriate, but second thing, being an introvert that I am, for me, it's very easy to cross this line. Like, if you are my friend, you are very close to me already. And thus, with a lot of girls I had, that I'm friends with, I had this, I wouldn't call it like problem, I would call it, I had this line I had to walk, where I go ahead and say, okay, wait a second here. Don't go around thinking about people as potential partners unless there is some reason for that. I don't know. This was just stupid shit. I was recently talking to my brother about all that, and because we were raised in the same family, because he's my brother, right? I was much more literate then than I am now. I feel like I cannot just really, I cannot even, as they say, I cannot even. It was a stupid and ridiculous ramble. But I started going on. Oh, look at that! Let me show you something. Check this out. They smell amazing too. That video really needs to incorporate the ability to share a smell of something with your viewers. And right there are the cars that annoy me so much. Okay. So, coming back to what I was saying is, I started talking about all that I fucked up talking about, maybe some other time. I started talking about that when, because I wanted to say that originally when I started the video, I couldn't bring myself to talk about what these videos would mean for me and how I wanted them to work, what I wanted to do by making them, what kind of action I wanted to perform and I couldn't make myself talk about that, and because I was like silent and shit. And I started thinking, what was that? And then I thought that it is perhaps I am processing this emotional shit right now. And I gave you an example, and I explained what this emotional shit is all about. And then I started going on a rant about what exactly is this emotional shit for me right now, what I am processing for the last 6 months or more than that. How long has it been? It has been 6 months and then some. Oh no, it hasn't been 6 months yet. Yeah, I totally lied to you. It'll be 6 months in this month when I return from. Well, it's approximate anyway. Stupid me. It's all approximate basically. I've been processing that. I'd say more like 4 years. With more or less success. I guess in the military I wasn't thinking about it at all because I just didn't give a fuck. I was busy with being in the military, you know. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Fuck me, I guess. Man, it's funny how I always do this. I always go on these crazy rants. Hey. Yeah, it is funny. I'm in general a very talkative person. I remember when I came from the military. When I just came from the military, I went straight to Moscow. I didn't go home, which is a different city. I went straight to Moscow here because I wanted to get a job and help out my family a little bit because they needed some financial support. Which I was like, okay, fine. I'll go do some job and I'll help you out a little bit. Which I did a little bit. Doesn't matter. Unimportant. So I came to Moscow and there's this friend of mine from a work that I once had. It was at a summer forum, and I worked as a designer guy there. My job was basically like stamping out. They made a photo of some speaker who came there, and they made a quote of him, and my job was to slap that quote on that photo in a beautiful way and make sure that it is all over like the screens and shit everywhere, just to like promote this great guy with this great quote. And just be in general like all around helpful person, because that's how these kind of jobs work. You just a part of a team, you just do random shit. So I had a friend from there, a girl that we shared a work ethic where we would wake up very early and we would we lived in like tents. They were not like forest tents. They were more of military grade tents, let's put it that way. So they were huge, and we worked in one tent like that. And she came there very early, like 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, around that time. And I also did, because it was at that time I enjoyed waking up very early and going for a walk and shit like that, and I just liked that. So we were coming to work at the same time, and we would just hang out often, and we were talking. We had shared common interests in random like things. She was kind of like me, an introvert, and all sorts of shit. So I had this friend. And when I came to Moscow, she lives somewhere here in Moscow. And when I came to Moscow, I'm like, I haven't seen you in a stupid, ridiculous amount of years. You want to hang out? She's like, yeah, totally. So we meet up and we go to this. It's not a restaurant. It's like a random cafe of some proportion. So we go there. And because I was in the military and I didn't really have anyone to talk with, I just explode into speech. I just talk non-stop. I like with incredible speed, and I don't realize I didn't even realize it at the time. Only later, only later when I was thinking about it, I realized that perhaps I just perhaps it was a little bit too much because I was like I was going ham. If you watched Rick and Morty, it's the toxic episode where detoxicated Morty starts ranting at Jessica and just generally talking random shit. That's kind of what I did. It was the same thing. It was very funny. So yeah, I felt that way, and I feel pain for her. My heart goes out to this lady who tolerated me. Yeah. Well, we had a nice evening, but I went a little bit overboard with the speech part of it, with talking. I mean, she did like 10% of the talk. Oh man, that was ridiculous. Whatever. And I later analyzing it, I think she was uncomfortable. So I'm sorry. Yeah, shit happens. You know, we're all people. Yeah, it's funny. You know, being a human person is definitely very funny. As I always like to say, once a wise grim doggy once said, "I'm also a people. I'm just a human dude. Yeah, I'm also a people." Who gets this reference? Good for you. Who doesn't get it? Live like. Okay. Okay. Anything else? I don't know. I think I got everything that I wanted to talk about today. With the exception, I guess, maybe I should try to return to my original thought of what I want to make of these videos, what I want to make of this video series, and I don't even know what I want to call them. Perhaps I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking something like human condition, because basically what I want to do with this is make it like a video diary where I speak my mind and try to not just diary as a today I woke up and I ate a very expensive fish can. I don't even know what you call it in English. It cost around $2, which is, for me, it's something that is like, it's not very expensive in general, but at the current point in time, I'm trying to save money, and that kind of spending is ridiculous for me. But I just had to do it because I ate fish like that in the military, and I just had to. I couldn't stop myself. I went out to buy tomato and a cucumber because, you know, you gotta have those veggies, you gotta have those not minerals, vitamins or whatever. Because my diet mostly consists of bread and potato. It's like 70% bread, 30% potato right now, and water, like 200% water from the drain. Not from the drain. I don't drink water from the drain. From the water thing in the kitchen. I don't care. It basically, the point is, it's cheap. It doesn't cost me anything. So buying the fish can was it was a statement of, I fuck the world. I need those fish right now. I don't know. Maybe I'll pay for that at some later point. but I hope not. If you support the show, maybe I won't have to pay for this decision of fish eaten. So, what was I talking about? The fish? Oh yeah, because I said that I wanted to make a video diary, but not just the kind of diary that would go around me buying, like, today for breakfast I had bread with fish and a little bit of tomato and cucumber salad with oil because I needed vitamins. Like, maybe that's also cool if you add context like that, like little stories. It's a story time. It's story time, bitch. Maybe it is funny, I don't know. But my original statement, my original point was that I wanted to make these videos as a way to reflect upon my own ideas. Like, for example, today I got a chance to reflect on this idea of having two ways to process information. I know that it's not original. Somebody probably already had it, but for me it works best if I kind of discover shit myself. Like, I enjoy learning about other people's concepts and I use them, but I also like discovering things myself. Reinventing the bicycle, I don't give a fuck. It's funny and it's enjoyable. That's the point of this entire thing. It's life, If we just know the rules and just live by the rules, what's the fucking point, right? It's cool when you don't know, when you try to figure shit out, when you're like, oh, what's that do? Oh, what's this? Oh, look at that. What can I do about this? Oh, fascism. Oh, fuck. Hey, I have a very big quarrel with contemporary fascism, and not even that contemporary fascism. Just with the emergent fascist attitudes in society and in the world, especially in fucking Russia. Fuck me in the ass. Yeah, okay. So, point. Back to the point. My idea was, I want to make this vlog in order to reflect, in order to expose myself and my thoughts to this kind of, like, lay them out on the continuum. Because I think I wrote in my military diary at one point, when I went to the military, I started doing a diary. Originally I started doing it daily, but then I realized that if you do it that way, it just kind of turns to shit as a diary. Because especially in the military, not often I would have enough time to write in it, and not often I would have enough what do you call it? Not just time, but strength. Not strength. What do you call it? Emotional, like, not being fucking tired. Okay, that's what I mean. Not often you won't be not fucking tired. You won't be fucking tired in order to do it. Because yeah, right now I'm back out of the military, so I have all the time in the world, and I have the entire summer ahead of me to just do these shit every day, and I don't give a fuck. I have a bazillion ideas. I live in this world for 24 fucking years. Come on, man, and it's only gonna get more. And to cover everything that I have been through and experienced, it's impossible, but I try. Point. Yeah. That I said that in the military I started making a diary, but I couldn't make it every day, and later I started just doing it whenever I had something to say and had time to say it. which was once in 3 days, once in 4 days, something along those lines. Sometimes every day, sometimes it was just like once a week, but it was like a huge piece of just wall of text with like tiny letters, because for whatever reason I thought it was cool. I heard a ringer, and I'm not scared. I'm pretty sure it was a bike in the forest. So I wrote in one of my notes, I'm pretty sure, that when you commit your ideas to paper, you become grounded. You gain roots. Because while I remember shit I used to think, I don't necessarily what should I call it? Not all of it. Okay, I remember not everything, which should be obvious. Damn it, I'm afraid. This is like Rainers. Perhaps it was a tram somewhere up there, but I'm scared. You don't remember everything, and sometimes you end up going over some idea over and over and over again, while you already thought of it. Like, for example, see here, I can reflect back to my my diary, my written diary, and say, hey, that happened, I remember that. Where if I don't have that kind of thing, if I don't have these like small segments of my life dedicated to self-reflection, where I just fix a set of ideas that are currently important to me, it's very easy to get stagnant, you know. Whereas here, every time I go online or I write in my diary, which I do less often these days, but I still do, it became way too meta. I escaped like the plight of daily life, and in my diary it's like all about like philosophical meta shit. It's like graphs about concepts and shit like that. But I like it. Okay, I enjoy it. Fuck's sake. Not always. When I'm very emotional, I also write some shit. But doesn't matter. Not important here. Point was, when you have these backlogs, be it video, be it written, be it some people do podcasts, you can ground yourself. You give yourself a point in a philosophical like landscape of ideas. You place yourself in that, and when you move, when you change something, when you come up with a new idea, you get to see, relative to your past, what exactly changed and what other pieces need to change. Because when you are a dynamic kind of just person without any sort of backlog shit, say something changes in something in your understanding, and some ideas become incompatible with this new change. Like, for example, I support the LGBTQ movement, I think ever since 2000, like completely support, ever since 2000, what, 2008, no, it was earlier than that, 2016 maybe-ish, I don't know. It's basically whenever I started playing StarCraft and watching professional StarCraft 2, and there is this amazing player, Scarlet, and she's transgender. So when I learned about it, I'm like, wait a second, she doesn't seem any sort of fucked up. She's just a normal girl. Like, for me, this concept of transgender people, basically picture the most homophobic stereotype you can imagine, a transphobic. In Russia, we don't have distinction between that. We just call all that homophobic. fucking Russia. So just picture the most disgusting trans stereotype. When I thought trans, I imagined that kind of person. Whereas Scarlett wasn't any of that. And I'm like, wait, what? I don't remember what year that was. Maybe it was 2014-ish? 2015? Something along those lines? I don't remember. I don't know. Or maybe actually 2000. I don't know. Maybe 2016. I think when I first started to play StarCraft, and then I started to watch professional StarCraft play, it was 2016. But when I started to play, it was earlier. Okay, it doesn't matter. Unimportant. Point was, when I changed my attitude and I started supporting this entire LGBTQ crowd, somehow, like, it took me several years of not understanding the distinction. Like, I only understood it when I came to Moscow, like 6 months ago or some around that. The distinction between sexuality and gender. With bisexuality, I mean what you like, and gender, who are you? Like, for example, you can be a transgender woman, like Scarlett, and you might like boys. Or, which would make you heterosexual, because you are a woman, you like men. Or, say, you can be a transgender woman, like Contrapoints, but you like girls, so you are a lesbian. Well, I'm pretty sure she identifies as lesbian these days. I think so. I'm not sure. Maybe she's bi. Yeah, maybe she's bi. I don't know. I'm sorry. Sorry, Contrapoints. I hope no offense was taken. I try to. I don't really watch a lot of her videos, and I don't really follow her personal life. But I really like some of her philosophical videos. Like, I really like this one about opulence. You can hear me. You can hear me ramble on and on about opulence. And I watched her video about opulence, and I changed my attitude a little bit, but maybe I'll change it completely. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I like that video a lot. Another cringe, yeah, that was also very good. Cringe. But she has a lot of good videos, okay? I know that in the trans community, like, people are divided in terms of she's a polarizing figure, I think, because she had some I don't think it was turfy ideas. What was it? She had some problem with I don't quite remember, but in the trans community, she's a polarizing figure. So I'm not quite sure why. Again, I have a feeling that she invited a person who has very, like, weird and non-generally acceptable views of trans people who themselves are a trans person, and like, I don't know. For me though, why I like her is her videos and some of her philosophical points. Yeah. Why was I talking about that? Oh yeah, because I said that when you ground yourself, when you give yourself this kind of sort of log. Okay, let me do this. When you ground yourself in when you ground yourself with a diary or with a vlog, and you give yourself this ability to look back at your own ideas, you might be able to realize inconsistencies. I knew, like, a whole bunch of these words, like gender, sexuality, but I didn't notice that in my worldview there was an inconsistency of understanding. I didn't quite get what all of it meant. I didn't get the difference between sexuality and gender. So when I came to Moscow and I met a bi person and we became good friends, I'm very embarrassed, but I embarrassed myself by misgendering them because they identified as a woman because she was a woman, a cisgender woman, but they were bi. And for me, because I'm a fucking stupid, fucked up person, I was like, hey, I can talk to you like a guy to a guy, because in their bi relationship with other women, she played the kind of masculine role. And I was like, hey. It wasn't that terrible, because it was in a jokish format. I think I never went past that. And she didn't take bad to it. But later I understood that I had this entire concept fucked up. Which, I guess, again, well, fucking human beings fuck us in the ass, I guess. Because we all learn. Some people know shit, some people don't. You can be very knowledgeable about in the ways of LGBTQ terminology and understanding how all of this works and how relationships work, or you can understand how fucking computer programming works and how computers work, which is I. Yeah, that. To finish my point, if I had any sort of records and logs about this, and if I had like dedicated self-reflection time for trying to understand these new concepts that were introduced into my life, perhaps when I originally changed my attitude towards a non-dick towards don't be a dick towards not being a dick to the LGBTQ community, perhaps if I had some sort of diary of log, I would have seen the inconsistency of my understanding of gender and sexuality. If I had time to reflect, if I not necessarily have time, but was dedicated to reflecting upon my thoughts, perhaps I would see the inconsistency and I wouldn't make this mistake in the first place. Luckily, I don't think it was a big deal, because it was never intended as a okay, not intended. She didn't take offense at it, and as I said, it was not offensive by itself. Why it matters to me is because under these funny jokes that you can understand me, you also played a role of a guy. It was kind of like that, but beneath these funny jokes, where was a bad understanding, was a inconsistent philosophical system of human sexuality. Yeah, that and gender. Yeah. Boopity bop. Boopity bop. Boopity bop. And if I had a blog or a diary, perhaps I wouldn't make these mistakes. And that is why, that is to finish what I have to finish what I started. To finish what I started, this is why I want to make this kind of vlog. To provide a reference point for myself and share it with others, so that they might learn from my mistakes, and maybe find some interesting ideas within my head, because it's like human to human interaction, only it's just me talking to a camera in a forest all by themselves, all by my loneliness, which I don't really have anything against. But I think that if other people find any sort of my ideas interesting, they may as well share it with them, and so that they might pick them up, or perhaps engage with them and challenge me and say, hey, you dumb stupid shit, it's not like that at all, you idiots. Suck my dick. And I'll be like, oh damn, oh no, I was proved wrong. If you have any of that, leave it down in the comments. Come on, I will engage in a meaningful discussion. Hopefully. Well, if you just shitpost, go ahead. Welcome to my page. Oh, there was a giant bone. It looks like a bull bone. I don't even want to show it on camera because it's not the most pleasant thing in the world. Some people like bones. I also like bones, but not when they are fresh, with like fat and shit on them. I like old dry bones, they are cute. And skeletons and shit, but not fresh. Nah, don't like fresh. So, I guess that should be about it for today. Thank you all for watching. It's a weekend, and I know. Okay, children. Today we talked about 2 ways of understanding, 2 ways of handling a concept within your mind. Then I gave you an example of a concept I've been trying to tackle for the last however many time. Me speak English very good. Me am Russian boy, but me is very English much. Yeah. And then I finished off by ranting about this concept that I wanted to start with, is like why I do this. Which now I said why I do this, so I hope I know why I do this. Yeah. I had a better philosophical viewpoint for why I want to do this, but perhaps not today, because today I expressed why I want to do it, like, for myself. And originally I wanted to talk about what I want these vlogs to accomplish, what action I want to perform by filming them. But perhaps not today. Today I just talked to you about why it's good to film them without any argument of what exactly does it do. Well, I told you that it allows me to reflect, which is, yeah, whatever. It does that. It does do that. So, I guess that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Wait. I have 3 phrases at the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Okay, yeah. I guess that is it for today. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.